Media Group, and today I'm here at this event focus on the filmmaking industry, and this forum is called International Digital Cinema Technology Forum. Actually, me and my friend from CGTN, we're both reporting this event, and she's hurried to this to catch a guy, to catch the guest, and let's see what she got. Let's go.
No, that's fine. Excuse me.
就是我们是。
不要保持冷场，先说一点，然后找来找。
Okay. And this forum, as many of you know, that it's the third day since the beginning of the Beijing International Film Festival, which kicked off on Sunday in the suburb of Huairou District in Beijing. And as many of you know, this year's week-long event features a wide range of activities, including professional salons, discussions, and so many. And movie practitioners gather here in Beijing to talk about the latest trends in technology development in the movie industry field. And today in this event, just to give you a list of names, the guests of this event, we have Xie Ning, who is the vice president of the FX company in China, is the cutting-edge, latest technology provider in terms of movie making and post-production. And we also have a Grammy and Academy Award winner, who is Anthony. He's from Italy. He's an Italian, and he also talked about the latest trends in movie making and the post-production. And now we see my colleague, Shen Li. She's just outside. Let's see what she's got. And just to let you know, today's event is limited for only 60 reporters, and we have to register before we come to this event. So this is really the highlight of the entire activities organized by the Beijing International Film Festival. Where is she now? Oh, she's over there. Let's go.
And if you could broadcast that, it will change the way people perceive things.
Yeah, and also you talk about, animation would be great to market internationally.
Of course, of course. You can sell what's the most successful Chinese film internationally, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I think that's what it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know exactly the numbers on the Great Wall, so that may be more. I don't know. But go ahead.
Yeah, and for example, animations with Chinese elements like Mulan and Kung Fu Panda series.
But that's not a Chinese film.
Yeah, but
that's an American film, and it's an American version of China. So what I'm getting at is, when I said Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, that's a live-action film. But it's a lot more difficult to market worldwide, and especially in America, because Americans are too lazy to read subtitles. The majority of Americans are just too lazy to read subtitles. There, I said it. And whereas animation, you see, like Kung Fu Panda, that's with an American slant to the story, but why not have Chinese make a Mulan animated film and send that out to the world? And I think it's much easier to make that internationally acceptable because they can dub it and it won't be as much of a drastic hit on people, because also people are not too crazy about dubbed films, but certainly they're not going to read subtitles. It's just too much brain work, you know. American Idol is about as far as they go with brain work. So that's the point I'm trying to make about animation being a more marketable movie subject or way to make films that could play internationally.
Yeah, and also, you know, I think one of the problems that Chinese films are facing is the maybe overuse of CGI and, you know, technology that sometimes make the film more like a video game than a film. So,
you know, we see that in so many things, and all the superhero movies, it's really a big video game, most of it. And
so for you, is that
this is no big. I don't think it's any worse in China than it is in the United States. You know, and in Europe, they do it too if they had the money. They just don't have the money to pay for that sort of stuff. And here and in the United States, they do. So that's why they end up doing so many visual effects films. And as long as people go to see them and pay money, they'll keep making them. They'll keep making superhero movies until it runs out of steam. And maybe it never will. Who knows?
Okay. So for you, can we just find a balance between, you know, the right amount of CGI? You know, I don't think there's a percentage that you should use, like, oh, if I have this much or that much. It's whatever. It varies.
It's you know, this sounds like something everybody will say, and it is. You know, story should come first, and a good story and good acting should be the first concern. And in China, in America, in Europe, there's a handful of good actors. The rest are products that someone's trying to sell. But really good actors and a good story, and then if the visual effects helps something, then use it. And if not, then don't use it. I think most visual effects supervisors would say, try to do this shot without visual effects. And then if you can't, use visual effects, but plan them well, do a good job, make it work. And because often the visual effects supervisor will plan a shot, and then the director will come in and start doing something crazy, and it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It doesn't follow what they had planned. So we say shoot yourself in the foot, like you're trying to take the gun out of the holster to shoot someone, but
So we've just interviewed one of the keynote speakers, Anthony Molinara. He's a special effects, and I'm joining my colleague here. So she just give you a sum up of the forum, and I think we're going to interview. We're going to talk to Chris Godfrey, who was the visual effects supervisor for the likes of The Great Gatsby and
Hacksaw Ridge?
Yeah, sorry.
I think Chinese audience are very familiar with his work, and let's see what he's got to his input into this movie development in terms of technology growth.
Yeah, and I think some of the interesting thing that he talks about is, you know, to put post-production in advance. Like, if you plan something ahead, then the post-production can have there will be less burden for post-production.
Actually, in his speech, I think he used a lot of jargons, like movie industry. Only movie industry practitioners, they will understand. It's a little hard for me to catch up what does he mean exactly. It's too professional, but
hopefully we can touch subjects that's more maybe specific, or some project he did, or what kind of problem he faces, and he also talks about the communication between a special effects supervisor and the director is very, very important. Sometimes the communication is not enough, and
Yeah, especially when we're doing a cross-border, cross-nation movie project, it's very hard if there is a huge cultural difference and how different people, deal with the movie from different angles, different perspectives. It's not an easy job.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as we see on the movie screens. The fantasy, the movie scenes. It's not just a day's work. It takes years and years to reach that level of technique.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of departments to work together to make the final production to work.
Yeah.
And I think one of the fascinating things about special effects, we may know special effects in sci-fi movies or fantasy genres, but actually we don't know, for action films, they use a lot of stunt guys, and so they have safety harness, and you have to cut it in post-production. So that's also a important part of the special effects. So it's not just about monsters and the fantasy land.
Yeah.
It's also about the ordinary shots.
Yes, it's also a challenge for the actors and actresses. We see a lot of these behind-the-scenes videos on the social media platform where an actor and actress, they have to play their role against an empty object. It's really a challenge for them.
I remember that I saw this clip that Ian McKellen, who played Gandalf in The Hobbit, and actually, so we were just getting some bad signals, just retesting. Yeah.
In terms of Hacksaw Ridge, have you ever watched that movie?
Yeah, it's really impressive.
It's splendid. It's a war movie about the American army in fighting with the Japanese troops, and it's really a touching scene. And in this movie, there is actually a lot of special effects, like all these scenes that is happening on the battlefield.
The bloody bodies, broken limbs.
I think he's about to finish.
I'm sorry.
Hello, Mr. Godfrey. We are reporters from China Radio.
Global Television Network.
Okay, hold on just one sec. No,
it would
We're
just
doing
take
a
a
live-
few minutes. Yeah, it's on live streaming. Sorry.
are you live streaming?
Yeah.
Oh,
So.
在说话看着你。
Hi, nice to meet you. So you were talking about there's not much communication between, the special effects supervisor and director, and sometimes, the communication is definitely plays a big part.
oh, that was actually Anthony that was into that. But at the same time, look, I agree with it. There is. I think one of the things that does happen is and also this I think is also because of communications issue. We are in a situation where sometimes things will drift into Chinese, and then by the time they come back and the interpretation and everything else, but there is like on bigger films in Australia, we'll have a lunchtime meeting every day to talk about what's coming up. In a situation where we're going from one set to a new set, we'll have a walkthrough either the day before or 2 days before, and you walk through and you'll talk about everything you intend to achieve on that set. You will also stick rigidly to the daily sheets, and you'll follow that through. There's routines that we roll through, and as Anthony said, if you change things, everything just becomes chaos. Now, we're not doing it a lot on the film we're on now, but there is a little bit of sway where they go, okay, we're doing this. Now, they've got their own rationale and their own reasons for it. But there's certain points at which, and Danny, who's our DOP, is great. He can turn the whole set around in 30 minutes. That's all the lighting, resets and everything else. But if we then have to come back again, that's another 30 minutes. Time's precious on set. If you're thinking about a big set, just in terms of facility costs and everything else, a big set may cost, let's put a price on it, anywhere up to $1 million RMB a day. So if you then work out that you're doing a 10-hour day, we work 12, but if you're doing a 10-hour day, that's 20,000 RMB an hour. So if you start to say, I'm just going to blow 20,000 RMB here and 20,000 RMB there, I mean, you're talking about an awful lot of money per minute. So when you're not lined up and you're saying, I now will put a blue screen up there, and somebody goes, how long is that going to take? And you go, 15, 20 minutes, and you go, okay, that's $1,500.
Yeah, and I think one of the trend, for post-production is that we try to, put plan things ahead, so that can really, so post-production can, it can really lessen the burden for post-production.
It can lessen the burden. You'll always have randomness. You'll always have something interesting happens because it is rolling that way. I mean, Baz Luhrmann runs it so that he optimises along the way. He'll change the script. He even was changing the script after he'd finished the film and then recut one whole reel on
Moulin Rouge?
On Romeo and Juliet. He changed one reel on Moulin Rouge because he didn't like one of the songs after it had its initial screening on the red carpet. So you get into a situation where and it's for very, very specific reasons, and he's allowed to, he's the director. But you get into these reasons and everything else. So there are rationales to why we do things, but you've just got to be accurate about what you intend to do. The earlier you can make decisions, the earlier we can make, we can understand where we're going. The earlier we can make rational decisions, and also we can accommodate variation. Whereas, on occasions you get onto a set, and I've had this done to me. I got onto a set one time and there was 12 cows on a piece of dirt in a blue screen. And no one could tell me what they were there for. And so you go, okay, what are we shooting today? And then, the 12 cows put mud everywhere and the set was ruined, and so we had to can it that day shooting. You have to be really, really accurate. It's, it is, I mean, at the end of the day, we're a business. We're the film industry. We're here to make money. We're a money-making industry.
And you also mentioned in your speech that you never say no. So to keep the creativity going. So if the director asks something that maybe it's not very maybe you have problem.
Look, I think on my feet. Generally, if a director asks something, I can come up with 2 or 3 options on the spot. And if I can't come up with an option, and I don't think that's ever happened, I would say, give me 5 minutes. No, I can always come up with something else. We can come up with 3 other solutions. Everything, though, has ramifications. We can't do that, but we'll do that. And if we do that, I need 4 stuntmen and a midget. Or we go over there and I need another, it's on Gatsby, at one stage I had 5 kilometres of blue screen hung. You get to that scale and it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. So you've got to be very cautious about ramifications. And if this blows out, what happens over there? At one stage we were told we couldn't have any more blue screen, so I changed it into black screen. We changed the lighting and kept shooting. You can change all of these things. You have to know your industry, you have to know the problems, but you also have to know what the results are. Because you just can't go, hey, here's an answer. The answer may be fine for you, but it may ruin art department. Or it may ruin edit, or it could be it's a crappy resolve or something. So you have to go, okay, optimise.
So you have to look at the bigger picture and
there's always a bigger picture.
Okay, thank you so much for your insight, Mr. Godfrey.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
And that's all your questions? Okay. I have one last question for you. A lot of the guests today talk about the latest trends in movie technologies, like before we have 3D, now we have 4K, and Anthony talked about hologram, and he doesn't think VR is going to be the next big thing. So what do you think is going to be the next big thing?
I really don't care. No, for no other reason than all the films I've made recently. I mean, if you have a look at every film I've made has been a 2K release. Every film. And they've been box office successes. And I think people become too obsessed with the technology. Do you get South Park here? South Park.
The animation.
The little animation? Yeah. Little animation, and it's tiny little characters that go pop, 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 pop. Story's fantastic. I'll watch it all day, every day. technology has nothing to do with technology. It's a story. Everything's always about the story.
So
If you can put a really good story together on your iPhone, I'll watch it.
yeah.
If it's a shit story and it's on 4K at 96 frames a second and it's, why?
Yeah, so you mean that technology shouldn't override story, a good story?
Technology supports a good story.
Yeah.
But you've also got to say, is it worth it? If I render 4K rather than 2K, I'm rendering double this way and double that way. So my render time goes up by a factor of 4.
Yeah.
So everything I'm doing goes up by a factor of 4. So my budget won't go up by, if I've got a $10 million budget, it's not going to go up to $40 million, but certainly it's going to go up by another 3 or 4 or 5 million. So now suddenly I've now lost a whole heap of money that I would have had before,
Yeah.
and no one's going to notice it. No one knew that Gatsby was 2K. No one knows that Moulin Rouge was 2K. Nobody really cares that Hacksaw Ridge was 2K. It's a waste. It's unless it can support it, and I've yet to hear the reason of why it could be supported. Because I remember when I saw, what film was it? I did see a film one time, and it was so sharp it hurt. And it was so crisp and clear. We've grown up with film, and we've actually got used to the medium.
Yeah.
And everything's beautiful and slightly soft, and it's all good, and the story and the words come out and everything else. VR, whatever it is, any of the other ones, I doubt that I'll ever make a film like that. Doesn't interest me.
And Hacksaw Ridge is a terrific film. It has amazing story, but also a very good special effects. I'm a really big fan of that film, and thank you for producing such an amazing film for us. It did very well in the Chinese film market.
I heard.
Yeah.
I heard. No.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so some really interesting insights from two of the industry elites.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm really touched when he says technology shouldn't overrun the story. As for a very good film, story is the core. We should all focus on story, and then technology should help it and achieve the next level.
Yeah, because storytelling is always, the key for a good film. Yes. So
we're also looking forward for great technology development in this movie industry, because they're actually helping each other, and in this
help upgrade the industry and just offer a more diversified experiences for the audiences.
Yes.
So that brings us to the end of this live streaming. I'm Shen Li reporting for CGTN of China Media Group.
And I'm Liu Mohan with China Radio International of China Media Group. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.